The topics that I cover are topics that have been neglected by our education system. Topics like self-actualization, philosophy, metaphysics, epistemology, psychology, sociology, developmental psychology, the philosophy and methods of science, consciousness, psychedelics, spirituality, religion, mysticism. Topics like success, emotional mastery, leadership, creativity, how to discipline and motivate yourself, life purpose, how to find your values, how to self-reflect, how to contemplate, how to think deeply and independently about things for yourself, how to deconstruct your own mind and reality, love, wisdom, you spent virtually zero time studying any of these topics in school or in university. You might say, oh, Leo, no, but I took a psychology class in high school, and I studied some psychology or sociology in college, and I did some study of physics and science in college, and I took a few intro philosophy courses in college. Yeah, maybe you did, but all of that is just like, it's so minuscule. It's so minuscule, and it was so poor in quality, and the amount of effort and thought that you put into it was so little compared to what is necessary to really, truly, deeply understand these things. So my job is to help you to understand these things that are outside the norms of our current education system. And our education system is very limited precisely because it ignores these topics. Now you might say, oh, Leo, that sucks. Why doesn't education just include these important topics? If they're so important, why wouldn't education include them? Leo, isn't that an argument against their importance? Because, I mean, honestly, if these things were so important, like if consciousness was truly so important, if love was so important, if truth was so important, surely there would be classes on these things early in school and all throughout. But there aren't. Therefore, these things must be bullshit or nonsense or unimportant. But what you don't understand is that the education system is deeply political. The things that the education system teaches, I'm not saying it's political in the sense that it makes you a conservative or a liberal. I'm saying that it's political in the sense that ideas are dangerous and scary things, threatening things. They are threatening to power and they are threatening to social order. So what you think of here, these topics, as just being ideas, as just being philosophy, as just being mere curiosities, they're not that. Precisely what separates the topics that I just mentioned, that I talk about so much and that I am passionate about the most, is that they are deeply, deeply functional. They play a crucial role in one's survival. And as a result, they're very dangerous. They threaten the social order, and because they threaten the social order and they threaten power hierarchies, they threaten how society is structured. They threaten the economy. They threaten religion. They threaten science. They threaten technology. They threaten the traditional family. They threaten culture. Because they threaten these things, it becomes virtually impossible to get the general population to agree to teach these things in school. If the things that I taught would be taught in school, the teachers who would be teaching these things would probably be, at the very least, outcast from society and demonized, but they might even have violence done to them and even killed. That's the seriousness of what we're talking about. Now, sure, you can teach these topics in a shallow way, which is not too threatening. But if you teach these topics in a very deep way, and especially when you start to interconnect them all together in a holistic way to build a big picture understanding of what's really going on in reality and in life, that's where it gets very, very threatening. And in general, this is why school doesn't teach you to question anything deeply for yourself. It's mostly just memorization. That's mostly what school is. It's just memorization. And then regurgitation of what you memorized. That's not a true understanding of anything. It's not really learning. It's just indoctrination and dogma. It doesn't matter whether the content that you're being indoctrinated with is scientific or not. You're still being indoctrinated with it, and it's still therefore dogma and belief. Now, it's precisely because these topics are so important that they are not covered. Do you see? Because the most important topics are the ones that relate to survival. The most important questions are the ones that most people in society don't want you asking. Because when the majority of your culture and your society is built upon constructed fantasies and illusions that are designed for the perpetuation of the human race, for survival, when that is the primary paradigm from which society operates, when your concerns are things like money and sex and material advancement and technology and the preservation of your career and your family and your religion and your tribe, when these are your primary concerns in life, there can be no deep questioning because you're not really interested in truth. You're not interested in understanding anything. You're interested in just maintaining patterns of survival.